Hello and welcome to Regionally Speaking and this series entitled Stewards of Social Justice, where we're spotlighting faculty, staff, and students of Case Western Reserve University who are actively engaged in the advancement of the university-wide Social Justice Institute. Today we are talking with Latisha James, Director of the University Center for Community Partnerships. She is responsible for representing Case Western Reserve to the community, civic, and business representatives and functioning as a liaison and catalyst to enhance university community relations. Latisha, let's begin with some personal history about your educational background and professional experience that led to your responsibilities for representing the university in the clearly significant ways that you do.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on your show, for one. But I would say that my educational, personal experience started, I grew up in Cleveland Heights and graduated from the high school in Cleveland Heights, and I went to Wilberforce University for my undergraduate degree, and when I finished Wilberforce, I would say I began my experience in community relations. At the time it wasn't called that, but with the former Mayor White, working in his media relations office and doing programs and events. But I would say that began my foundation and experience in working with all types of organizations in the community. He was an amazing leader in the sense that a lot of us that worked for him were very young, and he gave us responsibilities that allowed you to sink or swim, and most of us chose to swim. But we had an opportunity to really understand how a city functions, and worked with large corporations to small grassroots, organizations to obviously residents throughout the city, for the betterment of our community, and I would say really established a solid foundation for me and the network of work and people that I've met. And after leaving the city, I came to University Circle Incorporated to work with Dave Abbott at the time, who was coordinating a strategic plan called Shaping the Future of University Circle. Nice. And that's when all the institutions were coordinating their master plan expansion, and we were trying to do it in such a way where it's a coordinated effort. That was a wonderful experience and an opportunity to really become more engaged with all of the Circle institutions in this area. And then leaving UCI, I went to the Cleveland Indians baseball team to do community relations for that organization, and that was a wonderful experience doing community engagement for a for-profit organization where you have lots of resources to really uplift and help smaller nonprofits who want to make a difference in the community. So leaving there, I came to Case Western to continue on in community relations, and it's been a wonderful experience.
Yes, I know that it has been a wonderful experience because I've had the pleasure of working with you, so I know that.
I enjoy working with you.
I know you do. I know that you do very much enjoy what you're doing. I'd like to ask you how you got your first position with Mayor Jackson. I mean, how did they find you?
Mayor White.
I'm sorry, Mayor White.
Mayor White. Well, actually, I found him when I finished college. it was at the beginning of a recession, and lots of companies were not hiring, and particularly they weren't hiring if you didn't have a lot of experience. And I, did, and I had a couple of internships under my belt, but nothing substantial. And remember, I told you I thought I wanted to go into advertising, and I was working for a local advertising agency that was hosting a fundraiser for the former Mayor White, and he was preparing for re-election. And so all the employees had to work there, and in a nutshell, I met his sister, and I was sharing with her, my frustrations as a college student trying to find work. And I'm hearing all of these wonderful commercials. At the time, the former Mayor White was doing a lot of commercials on television and radio about the All-American City, that we are the All-American Comeback City. I don't know if anybody remembers those commercials, but I thought, I need a job, and I'm a college graduate. How can I, be part of this All-American Comeback City? And so his sister recommended that I volunteer in the mayor's office called Project Move, which was a volunteer effort for people to help the city. And I did, and I felt that if they saw my skills, that they would hire me eventually. So, it's interesting, actually, when I think about it, that I started as a volunteer in my career, and that's one of the, components that I'm really, that I would say developed in my career, is engaging people to serve as volunteers in the community.
Yes.
So that's how it started.
That's how it started. Well, I think what you just outlined for us is good for people to hear about.
Yes.
And especially students who are, today it's not so different. And so the opportunity to find a volunteer experience, to have a volunteer experience, and then where that, what that, all led.
Yeah, I mean, I highly believe that, being a volunteer is the best way to get your foot in the door, particularly if you are trying out a new industry or want to know a company better. What better way to do it than to volunteer your time if you have the ability to do so? Because if you have outstanding skills, a company will find a way to hire you. And it may be in your volunteer experience too that you realize, this isn't something that I'm really interested in. It's not what I thought it would be. And there's no loss. So,
yeah. Well, of all of those experiences that were leading up to where you are now, I'm just very impressed by how each one of those equipped you to do the kinds of things that you have ended up doing here. So explain that.
Well, I mean, I think what was the common denominator is relationship building, for one, being able to work with all types of organizations, people, whether it's CEO or senior leadership of a organization to a resident that lives in the area and is looking for assistance, whether it's access to services or resources that they normally would not have had the ability to utilize. I think that has been the common thread, and coordinating programs and events that benefit the community as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that the fact that you are out in the community and representing the university, that's a pretty significant role. How do you manage that?
Well, I mean, some days are, naturally, I think what I do is represent the university just as well as, many of our colleagues, but I think the function that the office serves as this liaison for the campus and community for those that are looking to establish partnerships with the university. The best thing about it is that every one, of us at CASE are representing the university in our facets of work. And I think the best thing that our office does is really try to keep an inventory of how we're engaged and to create opportunities for dialogue with each other as well as in the community, so that people know that there is a place that they can come to for information on the university's involvement in the community. But we have, wonderful ambassadors, as you know, and have interviewed, who do, amazing work year-round.
I'm thinking about my own experience in working with you, and I think that there's a kind of quality to what I would call outreach. You engage in outreach in ways that bring people in. That's what I see as one of a major skill of yours, and how you do that. You're very welcoming, very sincere, but you're, seems to me, very thoroughly grounded in what you want to happen. Am I right about that?
Yeah, that's quite true. That's a great summary of how I view initiatives that I'm involved in. I do sincerely want people to come together and work toward the common good, and collectively help to make a difference. And I appreciate you saying that, because I think that has been another, common theme, in my other places of employment, that what are the opportunities to engage others to help make a difference in the community? How can we really leverage our resources to work with others? So thank you.
Well, it's because it's been my pleasure that I can say that to you.
I can say the same
worked
for
with you.
you.
Thank you very much. Well, we're going to take a break now, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about how your role as director of the University Center for Community Partnerships interfaces with the goals and objectives of the Case Western Reserve University Social Justice Institute, where you serve as a member of the leadership team. And it is once again my pleasure to say I serve with you.
Yes,
so we'll be right back.
Okay.